Hi, Tyro Man. I'm at GAMA 2015. I'm talking with Jason Bowman. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great. I'm having a great time here at GAMA.
Now, you're the designer and creator of the Pathfinder system?
Yes, I'm the lead designer at Paizo Publishing. I created the Pathfinder role-playing game and many of its expansions and other core books.
Cool. So how old is Pathfinder at this point? Is it 5 years?
Pathfinder has been out now, if you count our beta and alpha playtest, we've been out almost 7 years now. But since the core rulebook came out, it's now been, actually it has been 6 years now since the core rulebook came out. And yeah, we're going strong.
Now, how would you say Pathfinder game system compares to like the D&D one?
Well, we're both trying to serve a similar need, right, of people kicking down the doors of dungeons, murdering dragons, and taking their stuff. But, you know, we really focus on giving the players kind of what they want, right? You know, we listen a lot to our players, not to say that other games don't, but, you know, we listen to a lot of what our players want, and we give them what they want. So, you know, they had been talking to us for years about some decisions we made in some of our older books, and so, you know, and maybe they could use a revision. So right now, in a month here, we're releasing a book called Pathfinder Unchained, where we look back at some of those decisions we made and do them differently. You know, so people think that the rogue maybe isn't powerful enough. Welcome to the Unchained Rogue. It's got some new powers and abilities to bring it kind of up closer to parity with some of the other classes we've already released. On the other side, we got a class like the Summoner, which a lot of people think is maybe a little too good. So in Unchained, we ramp that back a little. And the book is filled with other systems as well to let you kind of customize the game to what you want it to be. It's kind of what Pathfinder's all about. We let you make the game you want to play, right? So if you want to run a high fantasy game, we got that. If you want laser guns and robots, we can add that to your fantasy game too. You know, we kind of go all over the place. We're about to release a book filled with psychic magic, you know, kind of just giving people the tools and pieces they need to tell their story.
Now, GAMA is the show where retailers find out what the publishers are doing, new product or so. So what else is you guys coming out with this year, this upcoming convention season? So
our big release is Occult Adventures. That's coming out in August. Occult Adventures includes 6 new classes, one of which you can see on the board over here. The Mesmerist, who can kind of like bamboozle people with his mind and stare and, you know, play tricks on them. The Kineticist, that kind of is the master of energy and elements and can throw fire or lightning. The Spiritualist, who has a ghost companion that serves them. The Occultist, who uses the power of implements and ancient history to defeat his foes. The Psychic, which is a straight-up full-powered psychic spellcaster, and last but not least, the Medium, who calls upon the spirits from beyond to inhabit their body and give them power. So the book introduces psychic magic to our game, which we've never done before, and people have been asking for that for a long time. And it also includes new magic items and skills and feats and all sorts of new abilities to kind of enhance your game.
So what is the most difficult part of a game developer? Like, what was the most challenging?
Well, you know, to be honest, the hardest part is just kind of making sure that everybody gets kind of what they want out of the game, right? So, you know, I have my own ideas about what the game should be, but I have to remember that sometimes what I want is not what everybody wants necessarily. So I have to do the things that are right for the game and not just right for what I want. I do that enough, but you know, sometimes I you know, err on the side of what the fans want. So that's a big challenge, you know. And as our line gets bigger and grows larger and larger, there's more and more rules to keep track of. There's more and more content to keep track of, and making sure that we don't step on our own toes. That's becoming more and more of a challenge. But you know, that's what happens when you have a successful game, and I guess there are worse problems to have. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you're playing a game, what class do you usually like to play?
I'm usually the game master, right? Okay. My players don't let me. They don't let me be a player. They're not interested in that. They make me run the game. So I'm usually the game master, doling out punishment and treasure, and you know, having a good time and telling fun stories.
Well, I'd like to thank you for your time. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope you have a good show. How's the show's going so far?
The show's been fantastic. GAMA's always great. It's always good to meet with retailers that are selling our games and are enthusiastic about it, and they want to know more, and they want to see the new stuff, and we're happy to show it to them. So GAMA's a great show. I love it here, and, you know, I hope to be back next year.
All right, great.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Take it easy.
Hi, I'm Tyro Man, and I'm here at GAMA 2015, and I'm at the Wizkids booth talking to Scott. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
All right, so you guys have a lot of stuff lined up for 2015. You want to give us a quick overview?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to go through it. We are showing off some of the upcoming items for our games, and our four major games that we are showing here. We have our HeroClix, we have Dice Masters, and we have D&D Attack Wing and Star Trek Attack Wing. And then also, I'll mention that we have a couple board games coming out actually next month. The X-Men Mutant Revolution game, which is based, we licensed with Gale Force 9 to do the Spartacus Blood and Sand game engine and theme to the X-Men. So absolutely fun game, so check that out for that next month. And then working with Wizards of the Coast on the Temple of Elemental Evil adventure board game, which is actually the fourth of the adventure board game series for D&D. So continuing that tradition, so we're very happy to show that off here at GAMA as well. And then jumping right into our other games, HeroClix. HeroClix 2015 for us is going to be the year of the Avengers. We have a number of sets coming out that are based around the Avengers, because of course there's a movie coming out that it will be a wonderful sequel to the Avengers based on called Age of Ultron, which we'll be doing our movie set, which will be a gravity feed and a starter set to go along with it. And then we have some comic sets based on the Avengers and also Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. that come out in the spring and summer. And those tie into our storyline organized play series for the year, which is Age of Ultron. So at the beginning of the Age of Ultron storyline organized play, which starts in June, it's a 4-month event. And the May release that we have is Avengers Assemble as the booster bricks that will be available in May in retail stores. And then that ties in nicely to when the Age of Ultron event starts in June. And so you'll be able to use those for drafting along with the Age of Ultron booster bricks. And then over the 4 months, in July, we have the release of the Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. set. And tying those all together, we have a new mechanic in the game, a new item to collect, which are called the Avengers ID cards. And we have a couple of them shown in the case here. And the Avengers ID cards are a great collectible item, but also have a gameplay that you'll be able to call in your favorite Avengers characters into the game using the ID cards. And there are 15 that are inserted into the Avengers Assembled booster packs, randomly inserted there. In the Age of Ultron booster packs, there are 10. There's actually 2 waves, Wave 1 and Wave 2, and there's 5 in each, randomly inserted into packs there. There's another 15 that are randomly inserted into the Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. set. And then over the course of the 4 months of Age of Ultron, there's 4 that you get as participation prizes. That's actually Captain America, Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man. So some well-known iconic characters. And yeah, exactly. And so those are the way to get those cards of your favorite Avengers will be to participate in your local game store. So play at your local game store, and you'll be able to have access to those cards as participation prizes. And also at the beginning of that, each player as a participation prize will get an Avengers Roundtable, which is a resource that utilizes these ID cards. The ID cards can be played on their own, or they can be played in conjunction with the Avengers Roundtable. They also can be played in conjunction with the grand prize for the event, which is the Avengers Quinjet, which is a vehicle that can utilize the Avengers ID cards. So a lot of ways to play them, a number of cards to collect, and that ties in nicely with a new addition to our Wizkids event system, which is our online system for players to sign up in stores as well. And each card has a unique code that you can punch in and keep track of your collection of the cards that are achievements on the Wizkids event system. So you can raise up your achievement score by collecting the different cards and compare your collection of cards to other players as well. So we're very excited to tie that all in with our online event system, with our booster releases, and with our storyline organized play. So some other exciting items that are coming out. We have the Ant-Man Legacy of Hank Pym box set that'll be available in retail stores. A great way to get, Hank Pym's been one that's changed costumes and names a number of times. So this kind of shows his whole career and all the different costumes and superhero names he's taken over the years. We have Dyson token packs featuring your favorite Avengers characters. So a lot of items coming out in the spring and summer, all themed around the Avengers. So moving over to Dice Masters, and Dice Masters this year, actually next month, we will see the first release of our first DC set, which is Justice League. So we're very excited about that, to fold in the DC universe and DC characters into Dice Masters. It will have a starter set and the booster packs, same configuration as the other releases for Dice Masters, the 2 Marvel sets, the Yu-Gi-Oh set and the D&D set. We also have a line of accessory items with the play mat and a storage box that you can get along with that theme to this set as well. And we'll be doing organized play for Dice Masters throughout the year with monthly organized play kits, and we're doing a storyline organized play for Dice Masters that will be themed very closely with the DC set, and it's called Trinity War. And that'll be a 5-month event, again with participation prizes. So each player will be able to just show up, play, get a participation a card that they'll be able to use in their collection, and then prize cards that they'll be able to win, and at the end a grand prize that's an exclusive card and die to use in their game. Nice.
That'll make the DC folks happy if they've with Dice Masters.
Absolutely. Finally, we got the DC characters. You get Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and all your favorites villains as well. So very fun to play. And we've been having a lot of fun with it here, because this is the first time we've actually been able to crack open the boxes, open the packs. Nice. People have been playing. We had a games night last night, so people were opening packs, seeing the cards for the first time. So a lot of fun.
Yep. Walked by a couple times, it was always full. I was like, nah.
Yeah, we only had a few seats, so yeah, they were packed the whole night. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. So our other games that we have Attack Wing. Attack Wing has Star Trek Attack Wing, which we have a number of new releases that we're showing here, but we'll be doing organized play, continuing with organized play for Star Trek Attack Wing as well. And the storyline organized play for Star Trek Attack Wing this year is the Q Continuum. And Q is my favorite character in Star Trek. I loved every episode that he would show up in. I always look forward to the Q episodes. And so he's finally going to show up in Star Trek Attack Wing and cause a little chaos.
Yeah, that must have been tough to include him. He's like omnipotent and like.
Yeah, so he's going to act a little differently in the game. You'll have to wait to see when we release more information about it. But it'll be an exciting event. That will be a 4-month event. Again, with participation prizes and exclusive prize items that people can win. And so we're looking forward to when that starts. And then we have D&D Attack Wing as well. D&D Attack Wing is, we will be doing organized play for D&D Attack Wing. What we talked about here at GAMA is we have 2 of the monthly organized play kits, which are themed around the elemental evil, which is the main focus for D&D this year. And there'll be exclusive content and participation items that people will be able to get playing in their local store in these events. And we will be doing a storyline organized play event, but we haven't announced that quite yet. So look for more information about that. But in the future, coming up soon, we'll have a storyline organized play event for D&D Attack Wing. And then, you know, that talks a little bit about our organized play, but we did make one announcement here for your folks watching that we did announce here at GAMA that our next set in the fall for HeroClix is going to be a Superman Wonder Woman set. So it'll be a DC set in the fall, Superman Wonder Woman theme, and so look for more information as that comes out.
Can you tell us any of the sub-themes in the Superman Wonder Woman?
Not at this point, but you know, that's a good guess. So we have you know, a lot of great figures coming out in the set, and we're very much looking forward to it. So more information over the next month, 2 months will be coming out, and you know, we're very excited about it, and that sort of finishes off 2015 for us, and then later shows we'll talk about what's coming up in 2016.
All right, cool. Nice. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, great to see you.
Hi, I'm Tyro Man. I'm at GAMA 2015, and I'm talking with Jason Hill from Flying Frog Productions. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing good.
Now you're one of the lead designers for Flying Frog Productions, right?
That's correct.
What is the game you created? Which ones?
Actually, I design all of the games that we release.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep. So our most recent release is Shadows of Brimstone. It just came out at the tail end of last year, and it's a fully cooperative dungeon crawl adventure game. It's sort of a mashup of Old West and unspeakable horror. So the different players that you have will take on the role of each take on the role of a different Old West hero, and you'll go down into the mines and fight crazy monsters and tentacles and all of those things associated with unspeakable horror. And it's kind of cool because while you're adventuring, you can actually find portals that lead to other worlds and step through those portals and continue your exploration on the other side of, you know, in these crazy alien environments. And so it's been really well received. People are really excited about the game, and it's got a campaign system built in, so people are talking about their characters online and how they're developing and progressing and getting mutations and all of that kind of cool stuff. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming out this year, specifically for Shadows of Brimstone. The first big release we have coming out is The Caverns of Cinder. It's a box set that has an entirely new other alien world for you to explore, and it's got a full set of map tiles that come in the box that have new unique mine tiles on one side to expand your normal mine adventure experience, but also on the back side it's got all of the tiles you would need for the new Caverns of Cinder lava world to explore. And it's got a ton of new cards in that set, new missions, and also this crazy new enemy, the Lava Men, that, you know, pull themselves up out of the lava to attack the heroes and cause a lot of havoc.
That's hot.
We have a lot of other cool new expansions coming out with different miniature sets. You know, like for instance, the Guardian is a big robot enemy that you can run into in the frozen over ancient alien city of the Targa Plateau. And you know, if you go adventuring in that alien world, you might wake up one of these guys who will come down out of the wall and start trying to fend off intruders to his city. And each of these sets comes with a highly detailed miniature or set of miniatures, as well as all the cards and rules you need to play them in the game. Another thing we have coming out this year is actually an expansion for Dark Gothic, our deck building game based on the A Touch of Evil board game. It's set in it's Gothic horror set in colonial America, and the new expansion is called Colonial Horror, and it's basically a small box expansion that's standalone, so it's 2 to 3 players on its own with some new mechanics and new content in there. And you can either play that on its own, or you can mix that with the original Dark Gothic to add those new mechanics to your original game as well.
Oh, nice. Sounds good.
Yep. So we got a lot of cool new stuff coming out over the course of the next couple of years.
Any zombie expansions for the zombie game?
Well, we haven't announced anything just yet, but as a company, because all of our games are passion projects, we have a standing policy not to abandon any of our titles. So all of our games, you know, are continuing to be supported indefinitely into the future with new expansions, new material on the website, and you know, a lot of times at Halloween time or at Christmas time, we'll put up a new mission or new scenario or a new villain for A Touch of Evil or something like that to, you know, keep the game alive and keep people excited about it. And you know, when new cool ideas come up, it's easy to just sort of you know, run with those and make new material.
Yeah. What's the most challenging thing of being a designer?
Well, really, getting games to be fun is much harder than it looks, and it's cool and very rewarding to find ways to make the mechanics of a game really reinforce the theme that you're playing. So when you're playing a zombie-themed game like Last Night on Earth, making it so that the mechanics of that game are quintessentially the zombie genre. If you took those same mechanics and tried to put a different genre on top, it's not nearly as integrated as it would be if it's the game Last Night on Earth, or if it's Fortune and Glory. Fortune and Glory is a great example of that, where it's got a mechanic for dangers that you run into when you're hunting down these pulp adventure artifacts in the 1930s. And when you're on one of these adventures and going through dangerous situations, you have to make tests, and if you fail it, your turn ends and the card flips over to show the cliffhanger side, and you don't get to resolve that until it comes around to your turn again. And so it really reinforces that cliffhanger pulp adventure 1930s serialized genre that the game is taking place in. So having mechanics that reinforce the genre is really rewarding, but it's also challenging to really make that sing.
Now, where do people find you on? Do you have a website?
Sure. Our website is flyingfrog.net, and you can find out information about all the games there and upcoming news. But also, there's a really good fan community online between Board Game Geek. There's pages for all the games and a really cool community on there. But also a few different other fan sites like thezombiegame.com or Brimstone Cowboy. Those are really cool sites that you can find a good community on as well.
Cool. Great. Well, thanks for talking to us.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Hi, Tyro Man. I'm at GAMA 2015, and I'm talking to Luke Warman at Northstar Games. How you doing, Luke?
I'm good. How are you doing?
How's the convention been?
It's been great. It's the best one I've been to so far.
Okay. Now you guys have a new game coming out, Evolution, right?
Yeah, Evolution came out late last year, and we now have got a second edition coming out. It'll be coming out in May, so this is sort of like an advanced copy of it right here. It's our first time showing it. So it's got some better art, some improved card play, better bags, but it's the same basic game as the first print run. This is our third print run of it, actually, so you've been very successful so far with this, and yeah, we're very excited about it. And now this is even a more improved version of the first one.
What is the goal of the game? Like, how does it play out?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You start with the species, and you try to evolve that species by playing cards that give it traits, various abilities. You can increase its body size or its population, but you can also add other species and start developing an ecosystem. The end goal of the game is to try to eat the most food and basically out-survive your opponents.
Ah, very cool, very cool.
Yeah, it's at its core, it's a resource management game, but because you can evolve into a carnivore and then attack other species, it's very interactive. So what other people do and evolve into affects the food supply, and then you have to react to that. So it's a very dynamic game, a lot of interaction, which is normally not the case with games that are resource management games.
Oh, cool. Now you guys have a bunch of other games out too, right?
Yeah, our main game here is Wits and Wagers. That's we've sold over 1 million copies of that. We're basically upgrading it, so it's now Wits and Wagers Deluxe. That's going to come out in the summer. So it's got upgraded components, but it's the same game, same great price. And yeah, we just think it's going to really help get people excited.
So coming up this year, you have the new version of this.
New version of this, we've got that, and then we're also going to an expansion for this, Flight, which will come out at Gen Con. We're doing a Kickstarter on that next month.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us.
All right, appreciate it, man. All right,
okay.
Thanks a lot.
Well, a song about never saying never and never being told what you can or cannot do. This is one of us. Before I got to fighting, or when fighting got to me, I looked to find examples on the field of chivalry, and I saw mighty arms, much stronger than my arms could ever be. So I thought perhaps that field was not for me. But still I stayed and watched the fighting, till one figure stood apart, in armor newly fashioned, and a helm more pot than art. But each blow was thrown with honor and a lightness of the heart. So I took that step which soon became a start. 'Cause she was not the biggest fighter, nor one to raise a fuss, but I remember being proud that she was one of us, and we might never stand together in a shield wall side by side. Because of her, I lift my sword with pride. She was ladylike and lively, not the type you would expect, with a braver heart than many and a slot shot to respect. And I guess she'd once decided this was where she'd like to be, and I thought if she could do it, why not me?